Hey guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're having my baby pick my TBR. So if you're new on this channel, there are basically two things that I talk about: books and my son. That is basically all we have on this channel right now, so if you came for one of those things and you're seeing the other, I'm sorry, that's just what happens. But I thought today that we would combine those, because he's finally at an age where I feel like he could actually sort of make a decision. He's been grabbing at everything, especially books when I'm trying to read with him near me, for the last couple months, but he's almost 6 months. He will be 6 months on the 1st of February, and I'm just filming this a couple days early. So he is almost 6 months old, and he can basically sit up. Sorry, he is pooping in the background right now, and so I will try to focus on you guys. But he is 6 months, he can sit up. He is very, very good at grabbing stuff, and I've been giving him like the option of 2 different toys and 2 different things, and he's been doing pretty good at actually picking one thing, and so I think we're gonna be trying that out today. So my New Year's resolution for reading basically was to do the 52 reading challenges that Shelf Love Crate put in their advent calendar this last December, and so I did pick out 4 of these for January. I have been doing them as like a surprise picking out sort of thing. However, I did that off camera this time so that I could actually then pick out 2 options that we will present Presley with and see what he picks out for me. So what I will end up doing is showing you guys the 2 options we're gonna do, and then we're gonna see exactly what he picks. So I think without any further ado, as soon as he's done pooping, we will continue this video. The first card that I picked out was to read a Shelf Love book of the month. So basically it says anywhere from 2017 to 2020. This is their whole time of being a Shelf Love Crate, I'm assuming. So this was actually a very, very easy challenge to pick a couple books out for. So for one of them, I picked The Gray Seer by Kim Liggett. I do believe this is one of the more recent books. I believe it came in our October box from last year because that was our page to screen box. And this is a book that has already been optioned for a film, I believe. This is a sort of dystopian, I think it might also be fantasy related, where girls, once they hit a certain age in their teenage years, sort of become very, very alluring to men, even married men. And I don't know much else about it, but it does seem like it has some of those darker dystopian fantasy elements. And I've heard pretty good things about this, and this is one that I really, really would like to get to, so I'm personally hoping he picks this one. But then we also have Romanov by Nadine Brandes. This is another one I would like to read. It is a slightly shorter one than the other. I'm not favoring this one personally from the other one, but I would not be mad if he actually picked this one out. This one is like an Anastasia sort of retelling with magic, and so I'm very interested to see what this would turn out to be as well. Okay, which one, baby?
Your feet.
Your feet? I'm not gonna read your feet. Which book?
Book. Pick a book. Pick a book. Hey.
Which one?
Stop putting your feet. Okay, stand up.
There we go. You gotta pick a book.
Pick a book.
Which one, baby?
Pick a book.
But there's a camera. Pick a book. Hi. Which one, baby? Romanov? Okay. Good job.
No eating.
Give it to mommy. Give it to mommy. Thank you. Next, we have to read a book with multiple points of view. So for that, I also went down the like YA category. These were just the first couple books that I found on my TBR shelves that actually fit this category. So we have The Past and Other Things That Should Stay Buried by Sean David Hutchinson. This one, I believe, does have to deal with one of the characters dies and the other one sort of brings them back to life. So I don't know if they're like a zombie or whatnot, but the points of view do look like it's going to be between those two characters at least. And so we do have at least 2 points of view in this book. And then the other one is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This is a fantasy story that I've been actually wanting to get to for a while. I only own the first book in this trilogy, and that's part of the reason I've put it off, is just because of the fact that I would probably then want to immediately buy 2 more books to finish reading them. But this is one that follows a princess who flees on her wedding day, and there are 2 people basically going after her. One is, I believe, the prince that she is supposed to marry, and the other one is an assassin, and we do get all 3 different points of view. However, one thing I do know is that we don't actually know who is the prince and who is the assassin, and so I've heard that it's a very interesting ride, especially in this first book, to sort of read it and then eventually figure out who is who. So this does also have, I think that is then 3 points of view. Okay, you ready? We're doing splits. Are you showing off? Here, pick a book. Which one? Oh, okay. Good choices.
Okay.
Thank you. The next one we have here is to read a book from the bottom shelf of your bookcase. That is actually really easy for me because if you guys saw my bookshelf tour, which I will leave linked down below, you will have noticed that basically all of my TBR books are on the last 2 shelves of my bookcases, and so I just picked out a couple books from the very, very bottom shelf, and I decided to make it easy on myself for these ones because I'm gonna have to be reading at least 3 other books this month. And so for the first one I picked out number 6, volume 1 by Atsuko Asano. This one is a manga, so it should be very quick to get through. This is also one of my friend's like favorite mangas, and so I've had it on my TBR for a while, and I purchased it a few months ago, and now I really, really want to get to it. And then the second option we have for this one is a graphic novel / comic bind up, and this is Life is Strange Dust by Emma Vaselli. So this follows the Life is Strange video game, the first one, in the aftermath if you chose certain aspects. And while this is not the ending that I actually chose for the game, I've been very interested in this volume as well. And the art style looks really, really cool, and so I would not mind having to pick this up either. Which one? Which one? You can't have both. You can't have both. You gotta pick one. Which one? Life is Strange. Okay. Good job. Okay, you got one more choice. Can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? He's like, no, I want to eat it. Yeah. Give it to mommy. Thank you. And then finally, I picked out the card that is to read a book with more than 10,000 ratings on Goodreads. That's actually a sort of low number. So these 2, I think, were in the hundreds of thousands of ratings on Goodreads, and so I'm very excited to get to these as well. The first option we have is Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. I've been meaning to reread this series because I think there's like, I think I own 7 or 8 books in this series, but I've only read, I want to say, the first 3 or 4 maybe, and that was years and years and years ago. And so this one, actually, basically the whole series has over 10,000 ratings, so this was a very easy choice for me to make. But then obviously we have a second one, and our second option is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I'm actually currently in the middle of the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, based on a challenge I had to do for last month, and so I would like to continue on with the series, and if he picks this one, it would be a very easy thing to then continue on with and not have to worry about so many other books that I would have to read this month, especially since this book and this series are quite thick. So this is another one that I actually probably would prefer him to pick over Anne of Green Gables, but we shall see. Which one? The big ones, okay. Thank you. You can't even barely hold that. Oh, does it taste good? Can I have it?
It has Drew on it.
I know. Yeah, we got some nice drool on this corner now. Okay, so the first pick we have Romanov by Nadine Brandes. Like I said before, I'm not mad at this pick because it is a shorter book than the Gracier, and I'm very curious to see exactly what happens with the like Anastasia magic sort of stuff going on. So this was a pretty good pick from the baby. Our book with multiple points of view. So we do have the past and other things that should stay buried. Again, I'm not mad at this because this is a standalone book and one of the shorter Sean David Hutchinson books. So this should be a really easy one to get through as well. And I guess it means that I don't necessarily have to worry about buying books 2 and 3 from the other series this month. From the bottom of the TBR shelf, he picked Life is Strange Dust. Again, this is like the shortest book out of those two options, and this one should definitely make it a little easier to make sure I'm sticking to my TBR for this month, and so I'm very excited to read this. Like I said before, the art style is really, really gorgeous, and I'm very curious to sort of see what they have decided to do after the first video game, especially since this is not an option I would have picked. And then for the book with over 10,000 Goodreads ratings, I'm actually very, very excited that he picked this one. It is the largest book I had in this stack for him to choose, but I'm currently reading the first one, and I do sort of want to continue on with the series, especially since I do own all 3 books. So this gives me a very easy excuse to continue on with the series without having to worry about fitting it in between other books. So very excited for this one as well. And so this is our TBR for February. I am only doing these challenges for an actual TBR that you guys see here, although I am reading other books as well. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have videos up Mondays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!